everyone, and welcome back to BMX News, where I talk about everything that happened in the previous week within the world of BMX that I think you guys might care about. We do this live every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that means that there's a bunch of people in the chat right now hanging out. First of all, the scene's not dead checked in before anyone else checked in, so that was sick. Sean Chambers in the chat, the Travis crew, Travis Schramm and Travis K. Then we got Eric Stalls in here, Ken Nichols, Stoney, Old Fat Guy BMX, Kevin Jackson, Austin, and that's it so far. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and if you want to check one of these out live, we do them every Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel. So on that note, the first thing that we want to talk about this week is actually that Scotttown, a name that has been in BMX forever, is now working at the building. There was a post on the S&M Instagram page, probably the Fit Instagram too, just talking about how Scott started racing in the 70s, rode in the sports first street comps, been involved in the industry, magazine editor, photographer, shop manager, just done everything in BMX, and now he's working for S&M. Pretty cool to see, and I'm stoked to see all of the support that we're seeing for people like this in BMX, whether it's Chris Doyle being added to S&M last week or the week before, Scotttown riding for them, Corey Anastasio getting a signature bike on Fit. Just feels like Moeller, S&M, and Fit in the building are just really supporting that side of BMX. Guys, let me know how the audio and video look, please. And it's just good to see this, because I've been talking for years about how there's older riders who are shredding, but they might not get the notice or the recognition, for lack of a better term, that they deserve, the limelight. So I did a video live stream a couple of years ago at this point about older riders. It was February 28th, 2019. I talked for 50 minutes live, and it seems like since then it's done nothing but grow. Older riders have been getting more and more love in BMX, and I love to see it. Alan Sibley has been the shining example of this, just in the UK scene, where he's over 50 years old and killing it with both the riding side and the off the bike side of just supporting BMX, and always sharing cool things and constantly talking to people all over the literal world. And I think the more that we go and the more that time goes by, we find that we can ride longer than we thought we could. I mean, you hear stories from people who say that when they first started riding, 18 to 21 meant that you were like old. 25 was like, you're done. You're done at 25 and that's it. Now, 50 is where people are like really still riding well at, and it's amazing to see. So on that note, congrats to Scotttown on your new spot at the building. DMC is a great example too. And I just hope that we see more and more people who are older getting more and more love in BMX, because they deserve it. They put their time in, and there's certainly an audience for it. I mean, if we look at the chat right now, if you guys put your age in the chat, I know we do this all the time, but I guarantee there's not one person in here under the age of 18 right now. Okay, I can't guarantee it, but I would guess most of you guys are older and riding. So it just shows that there's an audience for this. And if someone like Scotttown or Doyle, if Doyle had his own signature S&M frame, he would probably sell it really well. I mean, Austin 30, Travis K 42, Brian 42, Travis Schramm 33, Ken Nichols 44. I'm just trying to drive my point home here, because BMX as an industry needs to notice this even more and realize that, like, it's not just kids that are buying stuff. People who are older have jobs, support themselves, they're more stable, they're not relying on their parents to buy their bike parts. Ken 44, Eric 49, Paul 43, Old Fat Guy BMX is 81 apparently. Stoney, you've gotten older. Kevin Jackson, 31. So literally everyone has been over 30 that listed their age. So I just wanted to say that again and just talk about that specific segment to keep pushing it forward, because the people deserve it, and there's definitely a market. Talk about business and marketing. 50, 39. Noah McBride is 20 something. He is. So with that said, let's move on. NORA BMX's Cornhucket Jam went down last weekend on Saturday, and it was amazing. Legitimately amazing. Here's the video that I put together as the highlights from the event. And if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. Noah and I did a BMX This Evening recap of Cornhucket. That's on my channel too. I didn't link that in the description, but you can check that out to just hear us talking about the event and how amazing it is. I don't need to go super in detail again here, but just know that if you missed this one, there will be one next year, and you should go to it because you won't regret it. Moving on from there, we have some more of the NORA Cup recap videos that I talked about last week. So this time we've got the Trail Rider of the Year, the Women's Rider of the Year, Video of the Year, and Flatland Rider of the Year. And these are just like 5 to 6 minute videos that basically have pro riders saying who they voted for and talking about the person who won, which who they voted for is the person who won. The first one is Trail Rider of the Year in Jay Hamilton. In the video talking about Jay, it's an awesome video. Hearing all of these people talking about him and why he deserves the NORA Cup, and how a lot of people don't even know who he is, but he puts so much effort into trails and riding and everything he does in regards to BMX. And you could definitely get a sense from this one that this guy deserved it. And then he goes on stage and he's like, there's about 2 people in the audience who know who I am. And it was just cool. So check this one out if you want your fill of some trails footage and seeing trail riders talking about the guy who won Trail Rider of the Year. Next up, we've got Women's Rider of the Year pulled up on the bloombmx.com to give them a shout out. Women's focused BMX website. So Linda Grabner won Women's Rider of the Year. Same story here with the video, same format, except it was the ladies talking about why they voted for her. And the only thing, it sucks that I took this away from this, but when we got to the riding, Hurley used a song that said, "When I look into myself, I see a broken man," for the Women's Rider of the Year NORA Cup recap video. I don't know if that was noticed or not, because it's very easy when you're hard at work to find a song and just throw it in there and not realize something like that. But I thought it was hilarious. That was the beginning. Definitely funny. So on that note, Linda Grabner absolutely deserves this. We talked about it previously. There was no one else that we thought deserved it between Noah and I when we talked about it. And seeing the riding recap in here and the way people talk about it, and then the stoke at NORA Cup when it was announced that she won it, definitely can see why she deserved it. So check that one out if you want to see a Lady Shredder recap of the year. Then we've got Video of the Year. So we got Chocolate Truck 2 that won it. This one was kind of cool because you could see some of the shot or the videos, clips from the actual video, I'm assuming, in the beginning part where it had all of the riding. No, I'm retiring this winter, going over to mountain bikes. What was cool about this one was to hear all of the people who are recognizable in BMX talking about this video and why all of these people deserve it, talking about how all these guys work 9 to 5 full-time jobs and then go out in their downtime and off time to film this video, Chocolate Truck 2, and putting in the work to make something that's deserving of Video of the Year. And if I can find it real quick, there was one clip in here that just blew my freaking mind right here. Watch this. Not this one. This. Up rail gap tires up rail. How incredible. There's Ralph, owner of Animal. How incredible was that trick? Up rail, gap to tires on a rail. It's already scary enough to double tire ride a flat round rail. That dude grinded a rail up and then landed on a round rail going up even further. Amazing. Check that one out if you want the recap. Then go get Chocolate Truck 2 and watch it. Moving on from there, we got the Flatland. This had all the Flatland people who voted for Kiyo Hayakawa to win NORA Cup talking about him and the riding, and then seeing the riding itself. It brings it all together, and a lot of these people you may not see if you're not super into Flatland. It's a great video. This one's a little longer at 7 minutes, and I think anyone who can enjoy BMX would enjoy watching this one. If you're a Flatland person, go make sure you check this one out. But I just enjoyed it because I haven't really seen a ton of Kiyo's riding, and to see how dialed and crazy it is, even though I don't fully understand Flatland, and hear the people who are the best at it talking about him, just kind of lets you know that he deserved it. So that's the last NORA Cup recap video. Let's move on to talking about the videos from this week. So first up, Julian Molina was welcomed to Fuse Protection with this real quick video of him riding some trails, which is awesome to see. I don't know that we've seen a ton of Julian in the trails, and just watching him ride dirt was pretty cool. It's hard to imagine being someone that rides trails all the time in the summer, riding trails with only one leg, and how much I rely on the pump of being able to pump using both my legs to get speed, and then thinking about having my foot straight down and using only one leg to pump as much as I possibly can to get the next jump. It's cool to see him doing it, and he's definitely an inspiration. And seeing him on Fuse, just another company on the list of companies who help out the well-deserving Julian Molina. So, moving on from there. Boom. Dead Sailor, Aaron Wilson, Mr. Nice Guys. So this one's got a kind of casual vibe to it, riding a concrete skate park. I thought I'd throw it in here because somebody you may have not heard of before. He's riding over in the UK for Dead Sailor. And I think if you just enjoy concrete skate parks, you'll dig this one. There's a lot of different types of tricks in here, and I figured I'd throw it in because why not? Then we've got Burns Slow Go BMX Day in Austin, Texas recap video. It's less than 3 minutes long with all kinds of people shredding in it, so check that one out if you want to see that. We got Jordan Toves, Get Well Soon from Cult. So apparently this guy is from Hawaii and was in a car accident, so there's a GoFundMe for him where they've raised over $25,000. How amazing is that? So they put out this video, and then the GoFundMe is linked there as well. Dude is an absolute shredder. Definitely kills it in this video. Lots of big grinds, crazy stuff in here. So watch the video, and if you feel inclined to want to help him out, the GoFundMe is there after you get done watching it. Next up, we've got Twan Van. I'm not going to pretend like I know how to pronounce that last name. I'm sorry. But it's a video called Rigid. All kinds of stuff in here. Didn't get a chance to watch this one fully through, but there is some great riding in here. Lots of technical stuff. I think that's over pedal grind or crank arm grind, back over 180. Pretty crazy combo there, so check that one out if you want some technical stuff. Spinning, lots of spinning in here as well. There was one clip that I saw at the beginning where he did like a grind and then 180'd into something and then did a full cab the opposite way, which is pretty sweet. Then we got one with Milky and Mike Stahl, which Mikey Andrew and Mike Stahl just makes sense there. So this one is from Fit's YouTube channel, but it's with a Fit and an S&M rider. Check that one out. Both those guys absolutely kill it. Then we had the highlights from the Backyard Jam Round 5 at Junction 4. I believe Junction 4 is the name of the park. And we got a video with Killian Roth It's called Check, and every time I see the name of this video, I think that it's a bike check because I see check and that's all I can think of. But just look at this. Freaking wild feeble grind down a huge, steep round rail. Amazing. Noah, you're going to have to watch the video. I don't know how to explain what he did. He spun one way into the fakie and then did a full cab the other way out. But this video with Killian was put together by Rich Forn, and it says here, it's hard to describe just how good this new Killian Roth part from Vans BMX is. Killian's technical riding style and his eye for straight up massive setups balances this part out. Amazing riding with Rich Forn behind the lens. You already know this is a banger. Stop reading this and hit play. Boom. Dude kills it. Always has. So check that out if you want to see a street-focused banger of a video part. Next up, we have got the coverage and video from the Mongoose Dirtvana Jam that went down at the Riveter. I'm pretty sure that's in North Carolina. And what I want to say about this video is that it is amazing how Dan Foley put this together with talking from all of these different people. So there's talking from Nikita, there's talking from Josh Holt, the guy right there with the beard. He's a dirt jumper rider, mountain bike rider. The talking from Michael Laren. Then there's talking from just so many different people. Pat Casey's in here, and he's talking about Tommy Crail, who's a savage on a bike, and talking about how he's a savage. And just the way that this was put together with the talking and the riding and just support for so many different people of all different types of riding in this one video, regardless of who they ride for or what type of bike that they're riding or how old they are. This dude right here, I mean, he's definitely not, 18, and I don't know how old this guy is either, but showing the support for everybody is so rad in this video, and it's very entertaining of a watch. So I think if there's one video to watch this week, this is the guy I was talking about. Tail whip and dirt jumps, and he did a huge 360 in off of the drop in right here. Boom. So sick. I think there's one video worth watching this week. It's this one for sure, if you had to pick one. Then we've got a video from a all women's BMX jam, completely organized by the women BMX local scene in Barcelona, which is pretty awesome when you think about it. I don't know fully how to describe this because I'm pretty sure it's not in English. Yeah, but that being said, it's a 16.5-minute long video, and there's got to be more love for the lady shredders out there, so that, like Noah said in our BMX this evening when we talked about Cornhucket, how one day women's BMX and dudes BMX is going to be combined, and it's all just going to be one BMX, where we talk about BMX riders, and we don't have to say women's BMX rider before talking about someone. So moving on from there, let's talk about Etnies Visuals. This one actually came out more than a week ago, but it came out after the news video last week. And this one features so many people: Jordan Godwin, Mickey Fleck, Isaac Downey, Sam Jones, Clement, I don't know that, Mr. Steez, all these people, Harry Mills Wakely, I recognize that name. But it's a video from Etnies that's almost 20 minutes long, so if you want something longer to watch this week, there's one to check out. And then the next video is another one that's longer that I think you may be even more stoked about. This one is from Scapegoat. It's called Lacuna. It's a full-length video at 22 minutes long. And look at the lineup for this video: Hobie Doan, Corey Martinez, Wiz, Brian Wismerski, riding footage from Wiz in 2022, Reed Stark, George Duran, Garrett Hoogerhide, Harrison Akari, Brandon Began, Mark Burnett's in here, Lino Gonzalez, Johnny Monaco, and LaShawn Kobza. What a freaking lineup in a 22-minute long video. I think if there's another video you should watch this week, this is probably going to be it. If there's a long one that you want to see, definitely watch it. Couldn't make it past 3 minutes. The cutting off of heads / riders in the filming drove me nuts. What video are you talking about, Travis? Yeah, I heard Jeff Mead was in this video too. How sick is that? Watch it to see Jeff Mead's clip. Tell me what the time code is for his clip in the comments below so that I can skip right to it and watch it before I try to watch the whole thing. Travis, I'm curious which video you're talking about did all the head cutting, because I did not notice that in the Mongoose one, if that's what you're talking about. Then, the interview stuff. Oh, the scapegoat video. Oh, that's a bummer. I'll have to see what you're talking about. Just click through it and watch. But there's an interview in the credits at the end. Well, give me a time code. Interview on Dig BMX of the Scapegoat Lacuna interviews. So what's cool about this is that there's interviews with a lot of people who are in that video in here. So Brian Wismerski, interview with Wiz, some questions there. Johnny Monaco, bunch of questions from him. George Duran, questions with him. Corey Martinez has some questions in here. Mark Burnett has some questions in here. Then LaShawn Kobza, Reed Stark, I think that might be the last one. Yeah, and then the full video. So check that out if you want to read some written words. It's been a while since we've had like a written interview to talk about in BMX news. So then we've got another, wait a minute, the order I have these is different than that. What just happened? All right, so next up we've got a bike check with Dan Crook. Sorry for the weird scrolling. I have to use the touchpad on my laptop instead of a mouse because my mouse sucks and is broken. But we've got a a freaking bike check. It's a list of questions and answers quickly here with a list from his bike and then some questions about the bike itself. So it looks like Dan built up a new bike and we've got a bike check with some questions about it. Beer, wine, or booze? Beer if I'm just out with friends. Cheetos, banana, or muffin? Asking the important questions here. Too funny. So check that out if you want to see what Dan is currently riding and some questions about it. Then we've got another Canode Knows Dig BMX podcast because he's partnered up with Dig, this time with Lewis Mills. Haven't had a chance to listen to this one yet, but I mean, look at that thumbnail. How could it not be entertaining? And on that note, I also want to talk about one that I did last night. Live stream podcast with Poor Boy Steve. This was such a great conversation that I had with him, talking about Poor Boy Steve, the company, how it started, how he got into art and the influences and some of the people who pushed him towards that. He literally talked about how he had, I believe he said, a manager position and he was let go from the company and his boss was like pushing him out of the nest, saying like, you need to go and do your own thing because you're not going to fully succeed at it until you have to rely on yourself, with it basically just shoving him off into Poor Boy Steve. And then it completely blew up, and it was just such a cool story to hear him talk about this, and then him talking about his advice for someone who's starting a company in BMX today, and just so much great stuff. Steve is a great dude, and I think that if there's an interview you want to watch, listen to this as well as the Canode Knows, because it's so worth the listen. Fantastic stuff from Steve. So thanks to him again for doing this, and check that one out if you need to listen to something longer on a long drive or while you're working. So on that note, everybody, thank you for tuning in. This has been a bit longer of a BMX news this week because I got on my high horse and beating the dead horse about older BMX riders and them being supported in BMX. but it's worth talking about because it needs to happen, and I think that you guys will enjoy a lot of the stuff we talked about this week. So thanks for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button down below if you're new here or you haven't yet, and we'll see you tomorrow for the next video in the month of Nowhere. A whole month of videos from the Nowhere compound and hanging out with Carl and everybody out there for Cornhucket. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a good day.